Hey everybody, I'm Christy Wilson, BCBA and the creator of the ASCEND RBT Assessment System. This tool was built by a BCBA for BCBAs. For those of us looking to streamline and individualize our RBT supervision without sacrificing quality. It's designed to minimize response effort while promoting high quality, data-driven supervision practice that reduces burnout, improves consistency, and aligns with the BACB supervision standards. The ASCEND RBT Supervision Template that we're going to take a look at is more than just a tracker. It is a complete supervision system. It helps you simplify your structure, reduce prep time, and make supervision more intentional. This document pairs with the ASCEND RBT assessment system to transform assessment results into actionable goals, training plans, and follow-through documentation. And the optional 97155 note generator further supports insurance compliant documentation. This system brings clarity, structure, and collaboration to your supervision process. So let's take a look at it. The ASCEND RBT Supervision Template is made up of 9 interconnected tabs that work together to guide and document individualized RBT supervision. Here is how you can use each one. First, we can see the overview and instructions tabs. So you'll want to begin here for a step-by-step overview of how to use this full system, how it works, and how it interacts with each other. It helps orient you to the ASCEND assessment and supervision workflow. You can see on our first overview page, there is this visual that helps give you an understanding of how the documents of the system work together. So we're going to start at the bottom and ascend up to the top. First, we're going to use our tabs to prioritize skills. Then we're going to complete our assessments, any needed sub-assessments, set goals that drive supervision, and we're going to use this template here that we're looking at to document our supervision. Pay attention to the colors that you see in this visual because in your instructions tab, you're going to see corresponding colors that offer a little bit more detail to each of these tabs and what they do. So let's jump in and first look at the ASCEND prioritization worksheet. Before completing any of your assessments, you'll want to collaborate with your RBT to prioritize topics based on interest and current case needs. So this prioritization worksheet guides that in order to help identify how you will complete each of the 10 ASCEND RBT assessments. So as you can see, there is the list of all 10 assessments here in the first column, and opportunities for rating across RBT's interest and motivation, frequency in the use of the skill, urgency based on supervision challenges, impact on client outcomes, and time sensitivity or relevance to upcoming changes. So I've given you some examples here and filled them out so that you can see how it scores. How you rate these scores gives you a total in the column, and you can see that it categorizes by color based on priority of how to address the order of completing the RBT assessment tools. Red, that'll be higher priority, yellow is medium priority, and green shows you a lower priority based on the inputs from these 5 different rating inputs. Once you have identified the order or flow of how you're going to complete the assessments, you're going to move on then to the RBT assessment tracker. So after completing each of your assessments and any needed sub-assessments, you're going to use this template to enter the scores and track your dates here. So this tab becomes your home base for the tracking progress, reassessment needs, and evaluating growth over time of your RBT assessments. You can spend the year to spread out the 10 assessment tools, completing about 1 per month, while leaving some wiggle room to set goals and reassess as needed. And the data collected in your RBT assessments can be used to support your annual review. As you can see here, I have inputted some dates of assessment to show you a couple of different things. So we've got our initial date of assessment and a score from when we completed from completing the assessment. We also have the opportunity to identify any follow-up notes. And if the score is above an 80%, you will see that the suggested next action will be to maintain, and it will propose a date of approximately 6 months out. Now, if the score is under 80%, then you will see that a suggested next action would be to reassess and goal set, and it'll kick your proposed date of reassessment out about 3 months. Again, you're going to use this to keep up with the tracking and scores of each of the 10 ASCEND RBT assessment tools. Next, we are going to skip over and look at the RBT goal tracker. So this tab is used to document the goals that are directly developed from the ASCEND assessment tools. As you identify areas for growth during the assessment process, you're going to set individualized goals and track them here. Each goal is categorized by status, and the tab automatically generates to a visual graph to monitor goal mastery over time. So if we take a look at what's here, I've given you 3 example goals based on the rating of the clinical judgment and situational awareness being our lowest in the previous slide. These are some proposed goals based on the score of the sub-assessment that the RBT was used to rate. So you're going to set the dates of each of these goals, and when you identify that it's mastered, you can put the date in the mastery, and you'll see that once a goal is mastered, it indicates so, and even gives you the number of days it took to mastery. If a goal is within 30 days of being set, you will see in progress noted in the goal status. If the day set is outside of 30 days, you'll see stalled in the goal status, which just gives you that quick overview of, okay, we've been working on this one for a long time. Do we need to reassess it? Do we need to relook at it to see what we need to do to help it master? You'll also see on this sheet that it will add up the total goals mastered over time up here. We can then look at the monthly goal mastery graph, which puts this into a graphic visual of how many goals get mastered throughout the scope of the year. Next, I want to go back to look at the session-to-session tracker. So this session-to-session tracker is the roadmap through the supervision experience. Each supervision day is logged on its own line, and prompts are provided in the headings to support meaningful feedback and coaching throughout your RBT supervision. Goals from the goal tracker also automatically populate here for easy reference. So as you can see, I've given you a couple of sample sessions. You're going to input all the basics, including getting RBT feedback based on what you observed, what the RBT reports. Again, this two-way feedback is really important in the relationship and the supervision experience you have with your RBT. As I mentioned earlier, the goals that are reported in your goal tracker show up to be options that you can pull into your session-to-session tracker if during that RBT session you specifically target one of the goals that you had set with the ASCEND tools. It gives you a lot of drop downs in here to help streamline and make more efficient the process of documenting and tracking your RBT supervision as well. One more thing for us to look at here is the resource library tab. So if we scroll all the way over, the last tab in the document is the resource library tab. So this is a document where all shared resources get housed that you share with your RBT. So these entries also auto-populate into the session tracker, keeping everything accessible and well organized. So as you input resources here, and you can specify the date, the name of the resource, kind of gear it through the topic, and even add the attachment or the link, you're going to see in the session-to-session tracker that it pops up for you under resources shared with the RBT. So you can specifically identify in each of your days of supervision what resources you provided to your RBT. Another piece that is really helpful is the BCBA follow-up tracker. So when we identify a supervisor follow-up needed in any of our supervision sessions, you can go to the BCBA follow-up tracker tab, and it automatically puts it in like a mini to-do list for you. It identifies the date, the supervisor follow-up that's needed, and then you can put in the date completed and any necessary notes. This acts as kind of that accountability system for us as the supervisors, while also modeling for our RBTs organization and accountability to the goals that you have set or the requests that get made. All right, so now let's look at the monthly dashboard. The monthly dashboard is a place that houses all of the data from the session to session tracker, which auto-populates into this dashboard to summarize themes and performance trends over the month of supervision. It also helps to ensure that the BACB supervision requirements are being met while allowing you to monitor mastery progress and focus areas month by month. So based on the data that you input in your session to session tracker, you're going to see that it automatically counts up the total of sessions that you have for the month, while also identifying if you've met the criteria for the client present during your sessions, face-to-face criteria and individual criteria met. You have the opportunity here in the client hours to put the number of hours that your RBT works in that month, and it'll let you know if the 5% criteria has been met also. So any of these cells that have turned green identify that this particular requirement has been met for the month. You will see that if it's not been met, it remains white. So the goal is to look across and see all your greens to know that you've met those requirements for your RBT supervision that month. It also allows you the opportunity to kind of sum up what you've been working on over the month and document it so that you can look through on the session to session tracker. Not only can you look through, oh, this is what I did last session, this is what I want to make sure I hit this session in one continuous process, but in the month to month, you can also do that. Hey, we really focused on this last month. This month, we're going to focus on this new topic. Last but not least, I want to show you the 97155 note generator. So for those who are billing insurance, this tab provides a structured note generator for the CPT code 97155. You can use drop-downs and pre-fillable fields to quickly draft your compliant 97155 supervision note based on your session-to-session data. So you can go through. You've got your RBT supervision information here in the session-to-session tracker. Right next to it, you've got your client note generator. There are drop-downs that you can pick from in a lot of these fields, while also asking for more information to make the note more specific and individualized. As you fill in the information in all of the tabs, you will see all the way to the far right that a draft note is then produced for you based on the information that you have put in. So this gives you a draft 97155 note. I want to be super mindful to identify these sheets are not HIPAA compliant. So please do not put any protected health information anywhere in this document, especially this 97155 note generator. This is not a HIPAA compliant document. Do not put any HIPAA protected HPI or PHI into this document. So there you go. There is our ASCEND RBT supervision template. Now, you might be asking, why Google Sheets? Using the ASCEND system in Google Sheets offers many major benefits for both flexibility and the function in your supervision process. You've got real-time collaboration between the supervisor and the RBT, making supervision a more transparent and efficient experience. There are built-in formulas and data validation, which reduces error and saves time. Scores, goals, and notes update automatically across the different tabs. You can easily duplicate and customize these forms as well, allowing you to create a personalized file for each of your RBTs without redoing the format. These Google Sheets allow you cloud-based access, which lets you update supervision notes, goal progress, and documentation from anywhere. Perfect for the remote teams and mobile BCBAs. It also offers seamless integration across tabs, which supports a connected and intuitive workflow. And there are protected cells and drop-down menus, which help ensure structure and consistency, even when these documents are shared with your RBTs. So altogether, Google Sheets makes the ASCEND system not only accessible, but truly scalable for high quality and individualized supervision. So here are some tips for you as you think about using it. Create one copy of the full RBT ASCEND system for each of your RBTs, which will include each of the 10 assessment tools and this ASCEND RBT Supervision Template. So each of your RBTs will have 11 different documents that are theirs. The initial setup shouldn't take more than about 10 or 15 minutes to get everything ready to go. On the formulas and the cells that have locked formulas, allow these to protect your calculations. Don't mess with them. You can use calendars to set reminders for your reassessment dates to help you keep up to date with it, as well as looking frequently at that ASCEND assessment tracker. Highlight updates and leave comments for track changes, and share the document with your RBT to promote transparency, engagement, and feedback loops. Remember how important those feedback loops are in supervision. So in closing, the ASCEND Supervision Template is your anchor to organizing meaningful, data-driven, data-informed, and sustainable RBT supervision. When paired with the ASCEND RBT assessments, it provides a complete framework that works smarter, not harder. Enjoy.